When it comes to the end of the world, most filmmakers take the same approach. Go big or go home. The priority is spectacle, chaos, told from a macro perspective. Wide-spanning ensembles, swooping camera work, newscasts, and crowd shots. Lots and lots of crowd shots. A pandemic film like Contagion begs for this type of presentation.
Can you tell us to date how many people have died from this virus?
Very difficult. We're still working on confirming that number.
But director Steven Soderbergh took the opposite approach.
Well, the challenge is to avoid the cliches that typically fill this kind of horror film. I want it to be intimate. I want it to be personal.
So how does Soderbergh make a global crisis intimate and personal?
Here, give me your hands. Okay. Should really rub this in.
You know, we just sort of made a list of things that we'd seen before. And so then the film begins to be defined sort of by what you don't want it to be.
Hey, get away from there! Get away!
Hit subscribe to make sure you catch our next viral video and click the bell icon to stay ahead of the outbreak.
This will be tweeted and
We don't want to be the paper that
all
cries
over the
wolf.
planet.
So we have a novel virus with a mortality rate in the low 20s, no treatment protocol, and no vaccine at this time.
That is correct.
One way Soderbergh captures intimacy is through his framing. In a way, Soderbergh gives us our own perspective. Soderbergh's technique here is subtle. All he does is slightly obscure the frame, and we're placed right into the scene.
Hang up the phone and call 911 right now.
When a camera is framed like this, it creates a unique effect. By sharing these private moments, an intimacy is born. Consider this moment when Dr. Mears believes she's been infected. Soderbergh could have shot the scene inside the bathroom with close-ups to emphasize her panic. The voyeuristic perspective shares a moment of pure vulnerability and activates our empathy.
No.
Most of these shots are reserved for the Emhoff family, the emotional core of this story. Watch this early scene and notice that almost every frame is partially obstructed.
My arm.
Okay, what happened? Did you take too much of that blue shot?
Honey? No. Stay there, Clark. Don't, just go.
A terrifying moment made even more so by putting us in the room. At the end of the film, we return to the Emhoff family for these moments.
Dad? Are you coming?
When Mitch finally breaks down. And when Jory opens her present. We've seen these types of scenes before, but it is Soderbergh's framing that creates an intimacy that would otherwise be missing. Another way Soderbergh creates intimacy is to isolate his characters with a shallow depth of field.
Hey.
I sure hope you pack something warmer than that.
This effectively eliminates the noise around these characters and keeps our focus uninterrupted.
Don't want you to catch cold.
In simple moments of conversation,
As of last night, there were 5 deaths and 32 cases.
or in moments of high emotion,
We both woke up sick this morning.
Soderbergh stays committed to this shallow focus, even when chaos is erupting. Like this moment when Dr. Cheever arrives at the CDC. Our focus is locked on Cheever's reaction. Soderbergh prioritizes our attention on what really matters. Our connection to the characters. But Soderbergh's commitment to that connection goes even further. Beyond vulnerable framing and isolating characters with a shallow focus, Soderbergh also moves the camera in a way to sustain our focus on the characters.
We're here. This is what is left of my village.
Are they sick?
Not yet. And we're gonna keep it that way until they find a cure. You're gonna get us to the front of the line.
Watch as Mitch and Jory leave the hospital. We get both stories, the Emoffs and what's happening to everyone else, in one shot. Soderbergh chooses to keep our experience personal. While other filmmakers present the immensity of a global crisis, Soderbergh paints a much smaller picture. And it feels much more personal, authentic. With simple choices in his framing, shallow focus, and camera movement, Soderbergh flipped the priority from spectacle to character. We now know what it's like to be part of a global pandemic. It looks less like this and more like this.
So instead, we lose spring, we lose summer, we lose another 144 days that don't happen again.
Contagion isn't Soderbergh's only film to tackle social issues. In our blog post, we dive deeper into how Soderbergh movies like Erin Brockovich and Traffic also make the global personal. Check the description for the link. What other pandemic cliches does Soderbergh avoid in Contagion? Tell us in the comments. Hit subscribe and enable notifications to keep them coming. Thankfully, MEV1 isn't real. The only thing you might catch from watching Contagion are good ideas.
But right now, our best defense has been social distancing. No handshaking, staying home when you're sick, washing your hands frequently.